A game where you've got to capture pals and craft bases as well as weapons to take over the world, as well as getting pals to work for you because you're a slave owner. I mean, a caring owner. This is the game for you if you enjoy all that stuff. And I survive 100 days in Palworld. If you do want to see any of this live, check my YouTube or twitch.tv/The Great Dane. So we had to start off by naming our world, and obviously we're going to call it Ligma Islands. And then we had to create our character, and look at us, we look like an absolute boss. We wake up, we've got weird animals looking over us, we don't know what's going on, but we're on a beach. Things cannot go bad. The towers are the key. The tree holds the truth. What does that mean? Obviously, we're going to find out in these 100 days. We start to progress even further, and we're coming across this whole new world. We're trying to find out what we can mine. There's people to talk to. We are confused, but soon we will understand this game, and we will love it. So we speak to this survivor here, and she hasn't really got much to tell us, so we discover the fast travel point and have a look at the map, and we can see the map is quite big. So, it's going to be exciting to explore it all. We then achieve level 2 by just picking up stones and picking up sticks that we see, and we see that we can actually improve our stat points. And the first thing that makes sense to me is let's get our carry weight up, because in the early game we're going to be harvesting a lot of materials, we need that weight. And then we look at the technology we can unlock, and we unlock a pal spear, a campfire, a repair bench, and a pal box, as long with a wooden chest and a wooden structure set, just so that we can build bases, have a bit of storage, and we can do whatever. And then I try and, figure out what to do to capture these animals. I end up smacking this sheep-looking thing called a lamb ball, and things don't go great. So we make a workbench to see that what can we build, what can we make? Is there anything we can do that is going to aid us in this early game? See, I didn't know I actually had to press and hold the button to craft. I thought it was going to craft itself, so I left it, but I found the chest and we found a journal. So either way, who's the winner here? But we do go back and we start crafting our wooden club because we're going to use that in the future. And then we decide to make our pal spear. Obviously, with our pal spear, we're thinking, great, we're going to capture this lamb ball. No, it's knocked out. It ain't going to work. What a waste. But we do find a life monk effigy, and, these are going to be useful in the future. At this point, you still don't know. The tutorial is useful, but it doesn't give you too much information. As you can see, we hit level 3 from killing a cat-looking thing, and again, we have not got the hang of this whole, throwing the spears at weak enemies and not knocked out enemies, but we do learn that in the future. If it was 100 days of me trying to learn the game, it would be a boring video, and I promise you this is not going to be boring. As you can see, it got dark, it got cold, and we were struggling. So we had to make a torch so we could stay warm, and also so we could see. And we decided, this wouldn't be a bad time to build a campfire either. This will keep us warm, and it will light the area up. We then decide to have a look what we can make, and it will be a good time to spend the rest of our technology points again to make a bed, an old bow, and obviously unlock the arrows. And obviously we're going to need the straw pal bed for when we decide that we're actually going to have some pals and we figure out how to do it. But for this, we need wood. So we think, let's chop down a tree. And chopping down a tree with a torch is just not it. So obviously, what I'm going to have to do is get an axe so we can actually chop down trees efficiently. Because using a torch, I do not recommend it. So once we gather up some wood, obviously, then it is time for us to make a pickaxe so we can get some stone. But my big brain said, yes, let's go to this big shiny rock. It will give us loads of stone. And I was wrong. It gave me ore. And this is very useless at this point. There's nothing I can do. And then I tried these little blue ones, hoping for something better. And yeah, I didn't get that either. So we took our anger out on a lamb ball. This is what this game is good at. Being able to take our anger out on innocent little creatures. And then we decided, where we had our little setup going was not good enough. We needed somewhere, a bit more homely. So we place down our crafting bench, make a pal spear, and we are determined that we are going to catch our first one. But at first we think, let's get this pal box set up so we can actually call this place home. There's a few different tasks you've got to do to level up the base, and, it's usually just crafting certain things. But we decide, let's get some stone and then go and get our first pal. And it's a chicken. Chickapee? Nah, it's a chicken, mate. Like, look at it. It clucks, it lays eggs, it's a fucking chicken. But we decide to put this chicken to work. He is going to work for us, and he's going to do some important tasks. He's going to peck away at trees, he's going to peck away at stones. Nah, I'm lying, he doesn't do anything. They're pointless. These ones are not very good. They can lay eggs, that's about it. You want some better ones. But we make our chests, and then we can see that we can actually level up our new base. We think, let's quickly put a bed down for our chicken, you know. What if he needs a nap? He might get tired. All this slave labour is hard work. So we finish building up the bed, and then obviously now our Chickapee, his stupid name, has got somewhere to sleep. But we think, you know what, we're working quite slow. Let's upgrade that as well as spending some of our points. So we make a stone spear, we make a food box, and that means now we can actually put food down for our pals. But obviously, I had to, eat the lamb balls that I killed before I upgraded the base to level 2, meaning now we can have 2 pals working for us at the same time. We then collect some wood because to have a bed down, we actually need some structure and some cover. So we build a little, place for our bed so we can actually sleep the nights away. Look how nice that big tree looks in the distance. I think that's the big tree that, that it mentions at the beginning that we've got to go see. And I don't know, we've probably got to climb it, and there's going to be like, I don't know, a big squirrel waiting there. Like, hey, well done. You're pretty cool. I don't actually know, I'm not that far in the game yet. Like, give me time. But there we are, base level 3. We're doing it. We're doing bits. And we think, you know what? Let's go get some more pals. We make up 3 pal spears and we are ready to go. And we run into these daydreams. I mean, they've got cool names. They look cool. These I can mess with. But they were strong and I was not ready. But lucky enough for me, my chicken came in clutch. He distracted them while I gave them some back shots. Not them ones that you're thinking, don't be gross. So yes, whilst we did die, we still managed to actually capture the daydream. And, we needed to let our chicken go back and rest because he was in a bad way. But obviously, if you've watched any of my other 100-day videos, you know I die a lot. It is what it is. I can't help it. I die, okay? And this is no different at all. I die a lot. But as punishment for fighting against me, I set the daydream to work. But obviously, I'm not going to let him have, no bed. He needs to sleep so he can keep up working hard for me. The next day starts by collecting some stone, and as you can see, the daydream is working hard, collecting berries for us, and that is useful. And obviously, our club is just not doing a lot of damage right now, so we decide to make a stone spear. So we equip that spear, and look at the fucking size of this thing. It is huge. That can't be, useful. Also, yeah, we messed up big time. We attacked this bird thinking, yeah, let's do her in and steal a shotgun. Nah, we were wanted, we had people after us, and we're dead again. But you know what? This time we're like, we're not going to cause any drama. Let's just go and get some Paldean fragments. Let's go make some more spears. Let's just play the game the way the game is intended by enslaving animals. Or pals as they're called, That sounds nicer. But we capture our first lamb ball. Do I feel a little bit bad that I kind of ate like his brothers? No, not really. I ain't gonna lie. But then we capture a cat. Or a cataver. I mean, just give them standard names. It's a cat, mate. Then we decide it would be a good time to increase our stamina. It was running out quick. So we increase that. It goes up by 10. It is not terrible. And then we unlock the ranch. And then we unlock the berry plantation. And then for some unknown reason, we are killing more lamb balls. I think I'm just a menace at this point. The lamb ball population is slowly dying out, and that is my fault. So we decide to build the ranch, and then we think, you know what, it could be useful, and then we build the food box. Obviously, the pals need to eat, and without eating, they get hungry, they stop working, and, they complain. I don't want that. But anyway, we put one of our new lamb balls to work and obviously make them a bed. Obviously, at this point, as you can see, I'm laying stuff around. I'm not really being neat. And again, if you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I like to make my bases look nice. So do watch the whole video, and towards the end, you will see I make a beautiful base. It isn't going to stay like this forever. But obviously, we upgraded the base one more time and then called it a night. The next day we decide let's build a repair bench. Obviously we don't want things breaking and our axe already broke. So we were able to repair it, and at this point it didn't show up that it was repaired, so I thought it bugged, but lucky enough it was. And then we built a berry plantation because obviously I don't want to have to be, looking for food for them. I want them to be able to do it themselves. So I set it off first and let them grow, and then by the end of it I don't touch it again. The pals do all the work for me. Then boom, level 5 base. We are getting there. We decided to make some cloth because cloth is going to be useful for us making our first outfit. We want to look fresh, and I mean look at us. We look sexy. And then we put another storage around just because we were running out of room, and you know what? I needed the room to store all these, dead Lambo bodies. But don't worry, we do capture some. We do enslave a couple. We are not nasty people. There is something satisfying about capturing a couple of, new pals and seeing the XP come in, and it's exciting. And obviously we ran out of pal spears, so we just decided just to murder everything we see. On the return back to base, we do repair our pickaxe, and then we call it a night. The next morning, we decide to build another pal bed, and we just decided to pick up the Daydream and absolute yeti them. And then we realised we could obviously store some of our pals in the box, because if we don't want them on our team or to fight with us, there's not really much point. Anyway, we're making more pal spears, and we decide let's go out and let's do a bit of exploration. Obviously, the map is huge and we've not really explored far. So we decide to do a bit of mountain climbing, and we come across an egg. This isn't just any egg, this is a damp egg. Obviously by this I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be some cool water thing, or, is it going to be like a squirtle? I don't bloody know. But either way, as we're exploring, we're finding cool new stuff, we're climbing down, and we actually end up pretty much nearly dying, but landing on chest. But at this point, I think I climbed up a mountain, down a mountain, nearly fell to my death, and we ended up back where we spawned. So yeah, we could have just walked through the big door. But it's okay, we played the game our way. And obviously, whilst exploring, we're finding a lot of chests and a lot of good stuff. And obviously, we've got to kill Lamballs, we've got to capture them. It's just what we do. And there we are, level 6. Obviously, we improve our stats, and this time we went for health because we thought, you know what, we don't want to die very easily. And then we use our points on a logging site and a Palgear workbench before picking up another large dark egg. And then we kind of accidentally killed that Lambo there. I was actually going to capture that one, but we are just obviously too strong. But don't worry, we do capture another. After this, we discovered there wasn't really much down here, and we made our way back to our base. And at this point, obviously, it was night time, but look at this place, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful looking game, and I've had so much fun playing it. I am so happy I tried it. So if you've not played it, I will 100% recommend it. Anyway, me and the boys are crafting a Palgear workbench because we're going to need to make gear for them in the future. But at this point, we actually don't have any recipes for them. But that means we can upgrade our base to level 6. And then we use the resources we've got to build a logging camp. And obviously with this, if we get pals that can chop down trees, they will do it there for us instead of just doing random trees around the place and leaving the wood all over. And what's good, the storage is 9,999, and if they're able to fill that, that will be amazing. And at this point, I sort of filled like my whole base with Lamballs, and I regret that because with the ranch, they just filled the place with wool. I mean, I've got so much wool, and I barely used any of it, but it's just lying around still to this day because I put so many Lamballs on the ranch. But we pretty much just went round capturing a few pals, exploring a bit more, and we see our first sort of boss looking creature. This thing is huge and we did not want to mess with it. But still, we proceeded to explore. We found chests, we found fast travel points, and you know what? It's a lot of fun exploring in this game. You can get lost just exploring for ages. Obviously, we're seeing new pals as well, and we want to capture them so we can have them back at our base. Each pal obviously has different stats and different things they can do. Some can harvest, some can water, some can cook stuff, some can, chop down trees, and some can actually build stuff for you. So it is useful to have, a big range of different pals for different tasks. And as you can see, we've leveled up again, now up to level 7. We are doing well, and obviously we're going to increase our stamina once more because we were running out. and then we build the egg incubator and the stone pit. And then we run into another effigy. We pick that up, and still at this point, I had no clue what they were for. And I was hoping that they were going to be useful and, make loads of sense, but I couldn't fully figure it out. As you can see, we opened up the map quite a bit, but we chose to fast travel back to our base. And then we called it a night. We start the next day by making some cloth, because obviously cloth is going to be useful. Not sure for what yet, but it will be useful soon. And then we make our first egg incubator. To be fair, we only make one during the whole time. I've just now thought about it. Why didn't I make multiple? That would have made loads of sense. But anyway, we make the egg incubator, and then we choose what egg we want to put in first, and we choose for the dark egg. And as you can see, it's going to take about half an hour, which is not too bad. And then we decide we're going to make a glider. It says parachute, it's a glider, come on now. But it's quite cool, it's like playing Fortnite. We're gliding in. And obviously we had to give it a good go. And then we returned back to the base to make more PAL spears because we wanted to capture even more PALs. And obviously then we set out on finding somewhere new so we can go and find all these new PALs to capture. So we fast travel to the area that we discovered the day before and just go round by running after pangolins and cats and trying to capture as many as we can. And as you can see, whilst capturing a cat, we actually found another egg. I thought eggs were going to be quite difficult to find, but they're quite simple. This was easy. But pretty much the rest of the day is just, exploring, hurting creatures, and then we capture them right in front of the families. And then we go and do it to the family members, to the mum. We've just taken your kid, now we're taking you. We ain't scared. I'm probably breaking, the Geneva Convention or something, but you know what? What are they gonna do? Shout at me? I'm not scared. We're taking these fire ones. We're taking them all. At this point, if you're a pal, you ain't safe. Even though this one's trying to put up a fight. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried because this thing knew how to move. But it's alright because we've got spears and we are ready to capture it. Even though he keeps escaping. Alright, I didn't mean to get angry and kill him, but it's his fault. He made me do it. On returning to the base, we obviously put our new pals into the box and carry on exploring, and we're finding more eggs. Electric eggs seems so easy to find. And whilst we were up high, we were just looking around and we saw so much stuff to explore. We saw a tower, some ruins, the big tree again, what is going on? But this time we were determined we were going to capture one of these fired fox-looking things with flaming tails, and we were going to do it, and we did. And then we found a life monk. I'm thinking, I've got loads of effigies of you. Maybe I'm going to use them on this life monk? Nope, not how it works. But it's alright, we're going to figure it out soon. Then we see a monkey looking thing, and we were determined we were going to capture this one, but did I get a little angry when I couldn't capture it? No, that's not like me. Oh god. But then we find another egg, and this one is a scorching egg. This sounds good. This is going to be a fire one. And then we arrive at the Syndicate Tower, and we find a cave, and we're thinking level 13, we ain't going in there. But we found a new fast travel point. Obviously these give us technology points, and that is always good. And then we see a Syndicate camp, and at this point I'm thinking, I can take these on. What's a few people? I'm taking on mad creatures. We can even crouch through and we can do this. I got obliterated. I'm so lucky I managed to get away with my life because I was so close to dying. At this point, I didn't fully understand the whole, utilising pals to fight for you and, that whole part. But once we discover that, we do become unstoppable. But obviously, we return home and our inventory is full, so we make a new chest and then we call it a day. The next day, we decide to give our new pal a go at fighting some chickens, and he seems to be doing well. He's no Rocky, he isn't chasing them around and punching raw meat, but at least he's setting things on fire, and what else could I ask for from him? But these lamb balls and chickens, these are easy work. How is he going to face against a hard opponent? And we don't know just yet. But pretty much the day is spent just killing pals, but we do end up leveling up from that, and that is always good. We are now level 8, and we're able to increase our stamina once more, and then we are able to see what we can get with our technology, and we see that we could actually make a shield, and we unlocked that quite a while ago, and we thought, you know what, let's go for it, and then we unlock the Crusher. This is before going out and killing more cats. I don't know why I had a thing against these cats. I just, you know what? I like cats, but these ones, nah, I weren't feeling them. But we returned home and built the Crusher, and this was obviously we just kind of built this because we needed it to level our camp up. I never actually used it in the 100 days. But with that level 7 base, we are looking good. So at this point, we're back out, we're killing more land balls. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm now looking back at it. Maybe I had a problem. Like, I shouldn't be killing all these land balls. But we found another egg, and we decided to glide over this big gap, and we find another effigy. Still no use for them, but we find this cool looking tree, and they have skill fruits on. And you know what? I wish I saved these, but I kind of was so excited to use them, so I used them on pals that really didn't need them. But anyway, we decide we can't keep killing. At some point we're going to have to capture, and we're able to actually get a tansy, which we tried to get before, and it angered me. But look at this. This thing is majestic. I needed this. I saw this, and I thought, I want you to be mine. I need you. I want to lick them horns on your head. So what we do, me and Foxparks, we beat him down before I'm able to finally capture him. Obviously, this was the scariest part. Foxparks was down, I had low health, but we actually were able to capture him. And this now probably was our best pal at the moment. So we thought, let's actually give him a new skill. Let's give him air cannon. That's going to be super useful. And we could actually see that we could ride him, but we do have to level up quite a bit. But we wanted to put him to use to see what he could do. And he absolutely destroyed this Depresso. I mean, look at this Depresso. Does it not just scream all of us? I look at that and I see that as me. That is my spirit animal. But anyway, we unlock a new fast travel point and then we head back to our base. The next day, our egg was complete and we took it out and we had our Nox. Was I really going to use this one? No, I mean, it looks cool, but I was just like, nah, put it in the box. Let's get another egg on the go and let's go out and explore. We're killing daydreams with our new big antler buddy. He's just a big deer on steroids. I mean, look at him. He's majestic. I love him. And at this point, I'd built the bow. I was ready to shoot the daydreams. And my boy with the antler over there, he was doing work. I mean, look at him. He's doing mad stuff. And honestly, he was the biggest help. But then we saw this big dinosaur looking thing, a level 17. I'm level 8. You see how this was difficult? But you know what? We were willing. We were determined. We were like, we're going to get him. We're going to capture him. What's stopping us? Well, he is when he absolutely wrecks us. I mean, look at that damage, bro. Like, we were not ready. Me and my antler boy, he was gone. My fire bloke was gone. That's it. Boom, dead. But we were determined. The next day, we're back at it. Cheeky back shot. You know what? He's not regenerated his health. What a fool. We were doing him this time. We were determined. We were like, you ain't ready for us. I'm smacking him up. I'm doing mad rolls. I've got my antler boy out. We're trying to do the big thing. I'm dead again. He was difficult, but look at my antler boy. Knocks him into the water, and this actually helped. He got stuck in the water. He couldn't get out. We were able to just shoot him until he was really weak and just throw pal speeds at him. Did we kind of, cheese it? Yeah, but I don't care. We literally had a level 17 pal at level 8. I mean, what else could we want? He was so good and he came in clutch in so many situations in the future. At this point, I thought, you know what? I'm kind of getting the groove of this game. I feel like I can understand it a little bit. I'm figuring things out. I'm a big Pokemon fan. I enjoy it. And this is like Pokemon meets Ark. I never really got into Ark. I wish I did. I tried it, but I just didn't. But this game, I were in. At this point, this is still day one of me playing. And oh my god, I loved it. I was sold on it straight away. But less on me. Me and my big green dragon, we were out and we were killing pals. I kept trying to capture things, but he kept doing so much damage. Lucky enough, I was able to try and capture this thing, but he got out and I'm like, right, yeah, let's throw another pal spear. I've got this. At this point, I didn't really, figure out the commands and that you can press 4 and kind of control your pals not to attack everything and anything. But I was still a noob, but it's alright. We're exploring, we're having fun. My armor got broken, but I was like, you know what? I don't care. Anyway, we head back home and we head to bed, and we wake on the next day, and we need more storage. I mean, storage was running out quick, and at this point, this is all we had. These really shitty wooden chests. But then out of nowhere, we had our first raid. And at this point, I was like, what do we do? And it was just like wolves, and I'm thinking, this ain't good. Are they going to, kill my pals? I should have not have been so worried. Our green dinosaur was doing bits. He destroyed them. Anyway, we decided to make some arrows, and as a result of that, we leveled up to level 9. And as a result of that, we were able to unlock the hot spring, which then it means that, our pals that are working are able to have somewhere to rest. Anyway, our egg was done, and we unlocked the Pen King. He's kind of cool. He's like a king penguin. He looks like a geezer. But you know what? Get to work, bro. I ain't paying you to sit around. I ain't paying you all together, but it ain't good enough. But anyway, we decide, let's put an electric egg on and let's see what comes out. For some reason at this point, my balls were huge, I was feeling confident, and I thought I was ready to take on the first tower. Boy, was I wrong. I mean, I got smashed. I should never have done this so early, and looking back, I don't know why I was so confident, just because I took on one level 17 pal and won. I mean, I cheesed it. This thing is scary. I mean, look at the huge bloke. I don't even know who this bird is. It doesn't really go into much. Once you defeat her, that's it. Like, there's no more backstory into it. But look, 30k health. What am I meant to do? I went in there with 30 arrows. 30 arrows and I was doing, look, barely any damage. I still feel like we did quite good being the low level that we are at this point. But still, I mean, why did I go in here? We were doing next to no damage. Even our green dino boy was, he was trying his best, but he could not deal with it. I was sending out different pals. I was trying to make it work. At this point, I had 9 arrows left, and we've done 4k damage. There was no hope. I mean, look, one hit and my shield was gone. Was I a tad overconfident? Yeah, I feel like this was definitely a mistake. But you know what? We had to give it a try. You have to try for the glory. I mean, we ended up doing 10k damage to it. We did a third of its health, and that was quite good at this point. But ultimately, I got defeated. We had to go back and grab our loot from outside, and we decided, you know what, it's probably best to head home. But before we do, let's go and take our anger out on these syndicate thugs, and let's show them who's the real boss. Lucky enough for us, there was a pal already attacking the base. And me, all my pals were dead, all knocked out. But, I decided to take out who I could and save this cool looking ice cat. And this Malchrist actually ends up being quite a good pal for us. Anyway, we decide to fast travel back home because all our pals need to rest, and, we need to figure out what we need to do to be able to defeat this first boss in the tower. At this point, our new egg was ready and Dazzy was born. Again, Dazzy actually came in quite good. We ended up using Dazzy for quite a while. Then we incubated a rocky egg and then made some more pal spears. We discovered that the best way to level up really would be to capture a bunch of pals, even if we weren't going to use them and they were just going to sit in the box, but you got quite a lot of experience for the first 10 captures. So if you're playing the game yourself and you are struggling to level up, even if you just capture the same pal 10 times, you're going to get quite a lot of experience. And this is what I did a lot, I'm here capturing T-Fants, hoping that I can level up quite a lot to unlock new and improved stuff. And obviously with the low level ones, sometimes I would accidentally kill, even when I was just trying to get them down really weak. I promise this was definitely all accidental, definitely looks accidental. But yeah, a lot of this day was spent, knocking out different pals and also capturing quite a few different ones as well. Yes, it was mainly the first one, but who cares? I mean, what are you going to do? At this point, I didn't want to waste all my pal speeds just capturing the same ones over and over again. I wanted to get some new ones to see if I could make, a good party to help me fight the first boss. And at this point, I ran into 2 Melpackers, and they were doing quite a lot of damage. I mean, my armor was broke, my weapon was broke. You know, we were running out of food, things was not good, but we were able to actually capture our first alpaca before we carried on exploring, and we found a new egg, as well as finding a weird boss realm thing, which we do actually go and fight later on in the video. So as well as having the boss towers, you do have a bunch of different boss pals around the place. Some are in sealed areas, some are in caves, and some are just out in the open, and you can kill them, you can capture them. You know, you can do sort of what you want, and they can fight with you. Some of them are quite cool and do a lot of damage, but also have, you know, different setbacks. But any of that, we were repairing our stuff before setting up another berry plantation, because we now had so many pals, we wanted to make sure we were able to keep up with the high food demand. From our next egg, we got a fuddler, and they seemed cool, but, you know, they weren't really something we wanted right now. And I unlocked a alpaca saddle before unlocking the tundra outfit, and I thought this was going to be something that was a lot more useful than what we had right now. But it ended up just being literally the exact same outfit in a different colour, just because it made our cold resistance higher. Anyway, we're back out and we're fighting T-Fence. We needed some pal fluids, and this was the only pals I knew that I could get pal fluids every time. So obviously we needed these for a recipe, so we just went round finding as many as we could before taking on another big antler boy. My plan was to capture, but Dazzy had a different plan and decided to demolish. But either way, we leveled up to level 10, we increased our attack, and we unlocked the primitive furnace, as well as nails, 3-shot bow, and the feathered hairband. The 3-shot bow, yeah, clutch. I mean, it fired 3 arrows at once, but only cost 1 arrow. I mean, come on now. That thing is mega. But the grind didn't slow down. We were still out. We were still attacking as many T-Fence as we could find before we fast traveled back to our base. And obviously, as it was getting late, we decided we're not going to do too much. We built the primitive furnace before we went and called it a night. But this also meant we actually could now make ingots with our ore, so it was kind of useful. So obviously, we spent the day getting pal fluids, and with the pal fluids, we could now make a hot spring. And again, this was so the pals could rest and build up their sanity, or whatever the sand meant, so they could work hard for us. And also with that, we could upgrade our base to level 8. Things were going well for us. We then went to go see what was going to come out of a verdant egg, and we got a cinnamoth. It's just a big moth, not really that cool. But we decided to build a couple new beds so we could get as many pals as we could working before putting in a new scorching egg. And then we actually ended up stumbling across a chillet, and this wasn't just any, this was a boss one. And it's a level 11, we were level 10 at the moment, and we thought, you know what, maybe we can do this. Maybe me and my pals are actually able to defeat this boss, and this was going great. I was ready to capture, but no. Our big antler boy decided to kill him, but it's okay, because you know what, that's our first boss done. I mean, it's not one of the tower bosses, and they're the ones that we're aiming for right now, but it's still a world boss, and we were able to do it. And we just spent the rest of the day exploring the area and capturing more pals. I mean, we wanted to get us, you know, to a decently high level so that we were ready to go to the tower and defeat the boss. Because we defeated the boss the day before, we actually unlocked ancient technology points, and with that, we were able to unlock the Statue of Power. At this point, we didn't know what this was, but we harvested up the resources that we need, because we needed something like 100 stone for it, which is quite a lot, and then we built it. As you can see, this thing looks cool, but we had no idea what it actually was until we opened it up. And finally, we knew why we were getting these effigies, and these were actually making it so we could improve our capturing power, and that was good. Obviously, we want to capture better pals along the road. And then look at this looking thing. It's like, you know, a ram that's on fire. How fucking cool's that? We're keeping him. He's ready to go into our party. But look, we make the 3-shot bow. We thought, you know what, it is time. And we repaired our pickaxe. And we were good. We were looking fresh, and we wanted to go out and explore and get strong. And at this point, I learned something very important. That stamina is stupidly important if you fall into water. Because with no stamina, you start to drown. And it's a very slow and painful death. It just lasted for about 20 minutes. But I arrived back the next day looking for my stuff, and I found it up in the mountain. So what we had to do was drop into the water. Lucky enough, this was actually shallow water before we climbed up the hill and got our stuff. And this all happened because I saw something in the distance. That it might not even be anything important. But anyway, we're back. We're capturing new pals. This is a rush boar. I mean, it looks cool. Again, never use it. But, you know, you gotta capture him. We gotta get the XP. We unlock a new fast travel point before we deal with some syndicate thugs with our big fiery ram. And I mean, he makes it look easy. And there we are, level 11. We choose to increase our stamina, because honestly our stamina just went down all the time. And then we chose to make the high quality workbench, the metal pickaxe and the metal axe. And then we saw another one of these statues of power, and then we saw that we could enhance our pals. At this point, obviously I didn't realise I could do this on my own, I just didn't really see it. But we actually could collect stuff to increase our pals, and I chose to increase our deer. Obviously you needed pal souls to do this, and I'm not even fully sure where we got pal souls from. I think you can find them around like, on the floor, but you can also get them from killing certain pals. But that does not matter. You know, we were on a crusade, we were killing everything we saw, but also capturing any new ones that we saw. At this point, we were thinking quality over quantity, and we shouldn't have been. We could have leveled up so much faster, but you know what? You've got to experience the game however you want. And this is how I experienced it. Like going around and collecting new ones, you know, and just knocking out ones that I already had. And this was fun to me, you know. It's fun to explore a game your own way. But anyway, we captured Pikachu. I'm in a Sparkit. It's a Pikachu, isn't it? Look at it. You can call it whatever. At the end of the day, I see that as a Pikachu. Anyway, we saw these weird bush sleeping animals. I don't know if they're rams, if they're sheep, or what. But they've got horns. We decide, you know what? Let's take you. You're mine. Best way to do it. Whilst they're asleep, go up, spear them in the forehead, and then capture them. Anyway, then we see a bunch of owls. You know, I'd meant to, you know, try and capture that one, but I accidentally killed. Before we saw a depresso, and honestly, I wanted one of my spirit animals. Look at a depresso. I mean, what a name. I love it. Just the facial expressions of that creature, I loved. So we captured ourselves depresso before we carried on trying to get a few more owls. I mean, I could call them poo crates, but I'm just going to call them owls. I'm going to see them as the animal they are, and I can't help that. So if that does annoy you, yeah, lol. At this point, I mean, we had so many different, you know, pals around. We had the dire owls. We had, you know, we've got wolves, we've got depressos, we've got owls around. We're trying our best to capture as many as we can, and also, you know, knock out ones that were trying to kill us. I mean, we had 2 on the go there. We are absolute capturing machines. It also does come as a benefit in the future to capture multiple of the same pals, because you're able to sort of, you know, combine them all together into one and make like a leveled up version of a pal. I mean, I think it takes 5 pals for each one for a level up. And you think, oh, that's not really that great, that you only get like 1 level up out of that. But I suppose it does increase, you know, everything, the health, the attack, the defense, a lot. But also there, 2 mammoths fighting, almost died. So I decided to get out of there and head home, and we saw that our ingots were done. So we made some nails so that we could actually make our new improved workbench. And obviously with this new workbench meant we were going to make things quicker and also newer stuff, because our old workbench couldn't make everything that we had actually unlocked at this point. So we're actually now making the feathered hairband, and this meant that we would take less headshot damage. But the thing with this, it broke so often. I mean, it was breaking like after every like fight really, so it was quite annoying. But anyway, we went out, we gathered some more, and we put some more ingots on the furnace. We then called it a night and slept until the next morning. We then made our metal pickaxe so we actually could, you know, have a better version of what we had. You know, we were going to be able to mine quicker, more durability, all the good stuff. We then built the metal axe, because again, we needed better equipment. And then I made a bunch of arrows, because we were willing to give that tower boss a piece of our mind. We felt ready, but, you know, I needed some more food, so we went out and we killed a bunch of lamballs before leveling up to level 12, and this time we thought, let's put it into attack. We want to do as much damage as we can, and we saw we actually could make a saddle for our antler boy. as well as making some pelt armor, which was actually better than what we had. So we slept and called it a day. We woke up the next morning to a raid, and the way they were like self-destruct things, I was really worried until we saw what they were, and they were just birds that shut out eggs. They didn't really do much, so I captured one and then we just kind of killed the other. It really wasn't as exciting as it looked. I mean, look at it, you like ran into the base and just like did nothing. It's not really a raid. I mean, I'd call it maybe like an intrusion. But anyway, we decided to make our dear boy saddle because, you know, we were ready to ride him. We wanted to hop on the back and fucking ride. Look at us go. I mean, it would be better if we could actually see the saddle on the PAL, but obviously the game's just released. Things might change in the future. You know, things are still early, but look, we can actually control him, use his abilities. This was fun. And this chest kept respawning. I mean, I went back to this chest like 4 or 5 times. I don't know if it's meant to respawn, but yeah, if you're watching and you're thinking I need to find a chest, there's always going to be one there that respawns like every couple of days. Anyway, we make the medicine workbench, we make another pal bed, and then we get started on the pelt armor. I mean, this armor actually looked amazing compared to the other one, but again, we're just yeeting around pals for the fun of it. They keep getting in the way, you can pick them up and yeet them, but look at us now. We actually look cool. But now it was time. We were ready. We were going to go do this tower. We were so confident. I really felt like this was it. Boy, I was wrong. I was, yeah. Don't get me wrong, we did a lot better than we did the first time. We now learned that if our pals got sort of low health, bring them back and call another one out and keep rotating them through. If you let them get knocked out, they can't fight anymore, but they do regain health whilst they're just sort of sat in storage. So it was useful to do that. And I mean, I brought like 60 arrows. This was not very useful at all. We ran out. We got them down to about half health, and things were not looking good for us. I mean, we were taking so much damage. Every time it hit us, it'd take, 400 or 500 damage off us, or it would completely break our shield. Things was not looking good. But still, we didn't give up. I mean, we got him down to 8k health with 3 minutes left. I was feeling confident, but not entirely confident, as we only did 3k damage in 2 minutes. Things were not looking good. We were trying our best. I had no arrows. If I had more arrows, we could have done him, but I mean, look, time was slowly running out. We were getting closer and closer, but things was just not going our way. This was before, ultimately, he slapped us. I had 52 health. He smacked me and I was dead. This was disappointing. But did we give up? No, because we don't do that. We returned home and we made more arrows. We were determined that this time we were going to do it. The grind didn't stop. We were ready. We went out. We got more food. We explored a little bit. We tried to get as much stuff as we could. We wanted to make sure that we were ready so we could take down the first tower boss and bring glory for ourselves and our pals. We wanted to make sure we had enough food so whilst in there we could feed ourselves and our pals and keep the health regeneration up high. The next day we decided, you know what, let's make our stone pit. With this, obviously, if we get any pals that can, actually mine, they're able to make stone for us. It means that we've constantly got wood and stone being made in the base so that we could make arrows easily. But anyway, we returned to the tower, and this time we had over 100 arrows. We were determined and we were ready. Things started out great. I mean, we were doing damage quick. Our pals are hitting hard. We were dodging all the attacks. And we sort of figured out his, attack pattern in a way. All our time in Elden Ring was finally paying off. Our pals' rotation was working out well. We feel like we nailed it. We got it down, to sort of like an art form. We were ready to go. And look, I mean, at this point, we had, just under 5 minutes left, and he had a third of his health. We were determined. We've only spent, half the time, and we've done 2/3 of the damage. But once we run out of arrows, things slow down, and there's just nothing we could do. Our arrows hit, so much damage, and with our spear, we were doing next to nothing. And getting up and close was not ideal with this boss. He did such, you know, high damage. I mean, look at it. Look how close we was to actually killing him. Time was slowly running out, and his health was still there, and there was nothing we could do, and this was my live reaction. No! No! Oh, look how close we were. We returned home more determined than ever. This was it. We chopped down trees and we gathered everything we needed so we could make a shit ton of arrows. We were determined. We was not going to stop. We were so close the time before to taking this boss out, and nothing was going to stop us this time. The voice inside of us told us, you can do this. And look, we just did not stop making arrows. I thought, you know what, I'd rather go in with more arrows than we need. And at this point, I think we went in with about 150 arrows. And we were just determined to do this. The day came to an end and we called it a night. We got into bed and slept till the next day. We decided to enhance our pals before the big battle. Obviously, we wanted these to be as strong as possible, and so far our big green dinosaur was our strongest one. We returned to the tower. We was ready. 154 arrows. Our pals improved. Our accuracy was looking good. We were hitting headshots. We made sure to keep the distance, and we didn't want to get close. Our pal rotation was perfect. We fed them every time we could, and things were looking up for us. We really nailed this one, and I mean, from going, you know, being maybe 30 seconds away from killing the boss to actually destroying him this time, we were definitely improving. We were learning the game as we played, and, you know, things were just looking up for us. I was determined not to make the same mistake we made last time, you know, and not able to finish him off before the time ran out, but look at it. 1k health left, less than a k. I mean, we were doing damage. Our green dinosaur was slapping him. Our bow was doing good, and we still had nearly 4 minutes left. Boom! We did it. Level 13, the tower complete. I was just buzzing with this. At this point, I was like, this is it. We are unstoppable. Anyway, we returned home and put on our new stat points into weight and unlocked some new technology, and we saw that we could make a grappling gun and a feed bag. So it meant that we could put food into the feed bag and it would automatically feed ourselves and our pals, which was unreal. The next day, we actually made our small food bag. You know, it's going to be useful. It's something that we needed, so we got that built straight away. And at first, I didn't understand, but obviously, if you see below my character, you'll see the food bar, and that is what it unlocked. And then we had Bandwagon Fangirls Raid, and I don't even know what these are, honestly. They're just such weird looking pals, but I capture one and I put it straight to work within the camp, and it just runs around looking creepy. It's a strange looking pal. But anyway, me and my dear boy, we jump on and we go out exploring. We're looking for new areas and new things to do. Obviously, we keep finding these, you know, journals, and they're probably full of lore, but I'm just not bothered. I ain't reading it. I want to go around. I want to capture a bunch of pals. And at this point, we were determined to level up so we can get further on into the game. Every time we saw something new, or even if we just saw an old one, we were capturing. We were not messing around. And I mean, look how cool this bridge is. Like, this bridge is really cool. It's got like a big, you know, stone thing in the background. It's quite cool. And then we sort of stumbled into an area we was not quite ready for. I mean, we were getting done in here. These things were strong. They were like 5 levels higher than us. I mean, I tried riding the back of a dear boy, but yeah, look, we were getting frozen. We were getting done in. Things was not looking good for us. So I did what any logical person would do, and I made a run for it. I mean, I did a little bit of damage, and then we ran. We were like, nah, we ain't doing this. We're gone. Thank God we got a glider, because a glider actually made it so we were able to jump off the cliff and go. But then I saw this Robin Quill, and oh my God, the Robin Quill is so cool. And honestly, I saw him. I really like the name Robin Quill. That's a cool name. But I was like, I kind of want a Robin Quill. Anyway, we returned home and we went to bed. The next day, we are back out exploring. We do not mess about. You know, we were on this big grind. I mean, look at these things. These are like, you know, weird stingray looking ones. Obviously, I had to capture one. But don't worry, I killed a few. That's for you, Steve Irwin. You're gone, but you're not forgotten. I actually ate stingray not so long ago. It's not as nice as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's just, you know, a bit bland. Anyway, we stumbled across the sealed realm of the Invincible and saw it and saw a level 23 boss and was like, nah, ain't happening. We ain't messing around with this. But the dear boy decided to mess up some syndicate thugs. You know, he was feeling it. And then we saw this Nightwing. How fucking cool is that name? Nightwing. I heard the name of it and I was like, I need one. This thing sounds absolutely cool. I mean, I wish it was as cool as it sounded, but yeah. Yes, we actually killed it. I don't know if it's just me, but like when it comes to like picking like what pals I'm gonna have in the party and I'm gonna, you know, are gonna fight for me, I do the same thing when I play Pokemon. I don't go for ones that are any good. I go for ones that look cool. If they look cool, like, you know, I'm gonna go for them. If they're actually any good but they don't look good, nah, I ain't messing around with them. Anyway, we jump the wall of a syndicate camp and we clear the place out. And we're there to rescue the captured pal. You know, we're not just a bad person, we can also be quite nice. To be fair, syndicate thugs are quite easy to deal with, and once we got them all gone, we were able to rescue this pal. But not only that, the syndicate thugs do drop a lot of pal spears, and it's always good to just pick them up so I don't have to make them myself. Then we come across another Nightwing, and this time I was determined to capture it. I didn't want to do too much damage. I mean, I just wasted a Mega Spear because it didn't reach him. The amount of spears I've lost in this game from accidentally throwing them is actually, like, outrageous. But anyway, we captured our Nightwing. We were looking good, we were feeling good, and we saw a bunch of rubies. And these things look cool, and we wanted some. And lucky enough, we were near water, so the fire didn't do too much damage. But they actually they broke our armor. You know, they messed up our shield. But we were determined to capture a bunch. I'm not 100% sure what, you know, the reference to the name is. Like, Ruby, I mean, I'm not getting it. Is it meant to be like the animal or something? But yeah, I didn't get it. But anyway, there was a chest. We got gold coins. Gold coins are obviously useful because you can use them at vendors to buy stuff, which I've never actually done. I'm just happy capturing and finding my own stuff. I don't need to, you know, use gold coins to buy pals or, you know, buy random stuff. But anyway, this was a long day just capturing these rubies. I mean, there was quite a few of them, and we kept capturing more and more, and then we got annoyed that they kept, you know, breaking our armor, so we just went and killed them, and then found another effigy, and things were looking good. But then we stumbled across a level 17 boss. I mean, we've done a level 17 before, but not a boss. And this marshmallow body, Grintail, you know, he was difficult. I mean, he would jump up in the air and slam down on us, and it would do so much damage. But lucky enough, he was quite easy to roll away from. But we had no arrows, so I literally had to rely on my pals to do all the damage. And, you know, at first I thought, you know what, I've got this. There's no time limit. Things are looking good. We're going to be able to do this. But, you know, things went bad after a while. And as you can see, look, I do 2 damage every hit. We did like barely any damage to him. He was so strong, he was so tanky, and he just was relentless with these attacks. He just did not slow down. All it'd take is one big slam like that, and I would be gone. But as you can see, we got him down to about a quarter health, but I had no health myself, and he already nearly took out one of my Malcries straight away. And then we got done in again. But we returned and we were prepared. We brought arrows this time, we brought enough food from all, and we were ready to go. We were going to tame this big old creature no matter what. We made sure to rotate for our pals so that we kept them nice and strong so they didn't die, you know, really quick, because some of these don't have as much health as some of the others, especially some of our lower level ones. But obviously I didn't make enough arrows to last me throughout the whole fight, so again I was just relying on my pals to do all the work. But my green dinosaur seemed to do quite a lot of damage to him, and things was looking good. And obviously I was doing 2 damage a hit. I mean, I did what I could when I could, but still, it did next to nothing. I probably could have done better just by like emotionally damaging him or something. But once we got him down low, I threw my Mega Spear, and I was ready to capture him, and things was looking good. And boom! That's it, we've caught a boss. And that leveled us up, which is always good. So we used the points we had to make the Pal Essence Condenser, the Mega Spears, and the Workbench to be able to make the Mega Spears before finding a fast travel point and heading off home. Once we returned home, we actually saw we could make a saddle for our new big old marshmallow body, and we decided to place him out with our dear boy. We then called it a night. The next day we had to repair our armour because it was absolutely destroyed from the battle the day before, and then we made a new metal spear because obviously we were just not doing enough damage with our original spear, as we saw. As mobs are getting stronger, I need to become stronger as well. And then we made a crossbow because that felt like it could be better than our triple bow. I felt like it was going to do a lot more damage. Yes, it was slower, but that did not bother me because I'd rather, be able to get things ready and, line them up and get a good powerful shot off. We then decided to head back to the beach that we discovered really early on in 100 days, because there was a cave down there that we were kind of a bit too much of a low level to explore at that point. We was yet to explore one of these caves and we were not too sure what was going to be inside, but lucky enough, we found an egg on the way, and that probably gave us some good luck. As well with the fact that we had 2 extremely powerful pals at this point, 2 that were like 4 or 5 levels higher than us, and we're ready to just one-shot everything and anything it saw. So we were quite lucky, as only was 53 minutes left until this dungeon expired, and I think it's because they don't want to have low-level dungeons in the higher bit. I think they expire then come back as stronger dungeons, but I could be wrong. But we entered the dungeon and we killed a bunch of pals that were in there, and we actually found some new ones that we've not seen, so we made sure to capture them. Obviously I had to make sure my Grintail just didn't one-shot all of them, because every time he jumped up and slammed on someone, they had no chance. There was actually some stronger Syndicate thugs in here as well, but they were obviously quite easy to deal with when we had our pal with us. And to be fair, our new spear was feeling a lot stronger than our old one. Also, I'm a bit surprised at the noise some of these Syndicate thugs make when they die. They're like, blah, 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 blah. And I don't feel like that's a good dying noise. Like, if I die and make that noise, I probably deserve to die. But anyway, we run up upon these thugs, and I am ready. Me and the boy, me and the marshmallow body are ready to slam down on him. And look at him. He's an absolute beast. Like, capturing him was, like, the best thing I could have done. Look, we're on against fuddlers. We ain't messing about. But he's very hard to have if you want to capture anyone, because he does, like, so much damage, and you have to, like, be, like, very, very prepared to capture him. But anyway, we was feeling very strong and very ready to take on whatever we found in this dungeon. And it was actually a boss Tiefan. I don't know if it was like a fully boss or it was just like a stronger one. But either way, he wasn't too difficult to deal with. I let, the marshmallow body deal with the actual boss, and I just took on the ads because, it's easier for me. And the crossbow was feeling very strong, a lot stronger than the bow. And in no time, we had the big Tiefan down, and it was quite simple, really. We got a decent bit of XP. We went to the exit, and there was 2 chests waiting for us, and we got some alright stuff, so I cannot complain. So we checked out what we got, and we got a high-grade technical manual that pretty much gave you a technology point. So the big name was not really necessary, but when we left, we saw a big green dragon, and we thought, you know what? Every time we see one of these, if we get one, we can use our, big fancy condenser to potentially, increase our to like a level 1. It's like a 1-star one, which, increases the damage, the health, and I think that's about it. But still, very useful. And after we finally captured the big old green dragon, after many attempts, we actually leveled up. We saw a couple chests on the way back, but then we just made our way back home. We didn't really want to take all day doing this because, it was just a quite, normal journey. I mean, we wasn't actually too far away, but at least we knew what the dungeons were like now. On our return back, we decided to smelt some ingots and set a new egg into the incubator. Then we needed to craft some nails because obviously it's very useful to craft them. But obviously whilst we're crafting things, obviously, are going to go bad, and we get a syndicate scouting party come to raid us. But you know what, I wasn't too worried because these are quite easy to deal with. The crossbow was so powerful, I mean, you could nearly do like 1,000 damage with a headshot sometimes. So it only really took 1 or 2 shots to kill them, and, they're not even like really paying attention, are they? I mean, I'm right here, shoot me, but nah, he ain't doing it. And this one just decided just to chill. But, you're still part of the syndicate, you're still getting, your ass handed to you. Once we finally got back to our base, we decided to build the spear workbench. Obviously, we want to be able to make our mega spears and eventually giga spears. I know, what a fucking name, giga spears. We then decide to make a new saddle. Obviously, we want to be able to ride the Grintail because we couldn't ride our Deer Boy anymore. And do I miss the Deer Boy? Yes, I do. But he just wasn't strong enough. And did the Grintail, replace him in, form of combat? Massively. Riding-wise, he's a downgrade. I mean, look how slow he is. Like, don't get me wrong, he can jump up in the air and do the big slam. I mean, like, that's cool, but it's just not good enough. Anyway, whilst we were out, we thought, you know what, let's explore a little more. And I'm hitting these crazy shots. I'm hitting headshots. I should be signed up to FaZe. We are just crazy. And whilst we're out, we're finding effigies, we're finding chests, we're finding some good loot, like always, because we are loot goblins. We gobble up that loot. And then we actually stumbled across a level 30 Elphadran. I think that's how you say that. But I was like, yeah, not happening. I don't think I'm quite ready for a level 30 just yet. So we thought, you know what, let's go take on this floppy. Nah, it gets stuck in the fucking rock. That is my luck. I mean, you can do damage. You're thinking, great, I'll just, throw a spear in. Nope, doesn't work. The game is clearly mocking me for being a pusso. Because I ran away from the big dragon. But I mean, what would you do if you saw a level 30 dragon? He's like double my level. What am I meant to do? Also, I don't know if these are actually bad or if these are good people, but I attack them anyway, and yeah, they hurt, but it's okay, because our big Grintail was ready to slam down on them. So obviously they're called, like, Free Pal Alliance, Devout and all that. Like, are they trying to free the pals, or are they saying let's free the pals, by killing them? I don't really get it. I am unsure at this point whether I'm the arsehole in this situation. I don't actually know, but if I am, lol. Anyway, I tried capturing this Gale Claw, didn't work, we just put them down, it's what you do. But we carried on exploring, we found some new areas, but ultimately we just wanted to get back home. It was getting dark, it was getting late, and there was a lot of big scary things around that were easily going to kill us. Also, everything seemed to be like 5 levels higher than us. And that's not good, I'm like prone for dying in these games. I did not want to die. But we return home and we jump in bed and we get our head down, dreaming of better things. The next day, we're killing some pangolins. Do you know why? We need the ice organs. Because then we can make a cooler. Which also means we can upgrade our base again. Because these are just requirements. And whilst looking around, we find a common egg. I mean, I don't know what's going to be in the egg, what sort of type, but it's common, just like you. But we head back home, ready to get on with some crafting. We place the ice cooler down just next to our bed, because you always want a fridge, within, like, arm's reach. What if I need, like, a nice cold monster when I wake up in the morning, or a bottle of water in bed? But anyway, level 10 base. I feel like we're smashing it at this point. We're doing quite good. But then we use our Power Soul to upgrade our green dinosaur, which I do regret in the future because I stopped using him very soon. But don't worry, no more spoilers, I won't keep ruining it. But I am pretty sure you can refund these and get them back. But anyway, we increase our capture power. Always good, we want to make sure we can capture the good ones. And then we make a PAL Essence Condenser. And this is the one I was talking about where you can get multiple of the same PAL and condense them down. And make like a 1-star PAL, and I think it goes up to 5-star. So technically I can make, say, a 5-star Lamball because I've captured so many. Looking at the stats and the increase, I would not say it was really worth it. I mean, you go up maybe like by about 20, and to me that just doesn't seem a lot. But anyway, we make a shit ton of arrows, and this takes a while, but it's what we've got to do. The grind never stops. And whilst making the arrows, we think, you know what, let's make a training dummy. This might be useful. Can we train our pals? No, it's like it's like an ornament, really. You can hit it, it does a bit of damage, and it heals over time. It's really pointless. But anyway, our next egg is ready, and we get it, and a Tombat was born. Again, just another pal I didn't really use, but we put a new egg straight into it, and luckily enough, the common egg doesn't take long at all. But yeah, we're back, we're making more arrows, we sort of had a little break there, and it just takes so long, I mean, look. And we just sort of stop and go, why? Why is this so long? But we actually used our first copper key for the first time to unlock a chest, and we didn't really get anything great, I was not too impressed. But we managed to trap another big green dinosaur, and we think, at this point, can we maybe get enough so we can actually upgrade? But anyway, it takes a few spears, but we finally capture him. Anyway, we carry on exploring, find a new electric egg. I mean, we're finding eggs all over the place now, and we stumble across another dungeon, and we're thinking, let's do it. We are ready. This time we are hoping for a better boss, because the last one wasn't that good. But this time I was smart and decided to not really bring out Grintail until I was ready. And I thought, you know what, let's capture a few of these Meow? I really don't know how to say it, but they're kind of cool. But anyway, we decided to capture, you know, pretty much anyone that we could in there. When there's two of them, it's kind of hard because you don't want to get attacked too much and, you know, have your armor break and start taking damage, just in case the boss ends up being actually difficult. But we kill these Kilamaris. It's a kind of cool name. I like that. But yeah, they're quite easy to deal with. Obviously, we capture them when we can. And we want to make sure that we level up as fast as possible. Obviously, through these caves, you can find a lot of, like, iron and you can find sulfur, which is useful in the future. But as of right now, I really had no use for sulfur. So I did mine a little bit, and I didn't want to take too much iron in case we found something valuable in the chest. And, you know, the storage isn't the most. So yeah, I do kind of wish I improved my carry weight a little bit more. But at the same time, I sort of improved what I needed at the time. But anyway, look, you can see we're capturing daydreams, things that are going well, and we are leveling up quite quick. These seem to be filled with sort of the same creatures a lot of the time. It's really just been like Kilamaris and, you know, the occasional Mao and, you know, maybe a daydream or two. There's not really a big variety so far, but this is only our second one, so we never know. We could go into a dungeon and it'd be completely different. Obviously, we saw a Mao in the corner and decided to take it on, and we get it down to one shot before we throw a spear at it, but obviously we miss because we are just, you know, so good at wasting spears. I would actually love to know how many spears I accidentally threw. I mean, I've accidentally thrown so many, I do it all the time. And there we are, level 16, good to go. We are leveling up nice and fast at this point. I mean, look at Grintail just taking them out. They're all just like one shot, easy to do. But you notice how he leaves the Syndicate thugs down at one shot, but like no pals? Yeah. He's got problems, I tell you. Anyway, we wipe these thugs out nice and easily. I mean, it's easy work at this point. And obviously, because we leveled up, we decided to, you know, increase our stamina, unlock the Mega Shield, and there's like different armors we could get. And we think, you know what, we may as well get the heat resistant. As well as we unlock the metal chest and the wooden defensive wall. And then we get a saddle, just in case we want to ride our flaming ram. And we unlock the mill, the wheat plantation, and just a bunch of other stuff. We stumble across this chest, and there's not really anything good in it. A few arrows, some coins. And then we come across the boss Killamari. Again, I let, you know, him just sort of tank the boss, and I dealt with the ads. I mean, it was quite simple, really. These dungeon ones so far seems to be a lot, you know, easier than anything else we've dealt with, and you get some quite good XP and some good loot, so it all works out really. But as you can see, I mean, it didn't take as long, and we switched out halfway through just to sort of see what worked better. We soon left that dungeon and saw a few Hookrays, and we decided, you're getting it, you're coming home with me. So we capture this big boy, and it does not take long at all. We then discover a small settlement, and we get the fast travel point, and we soon return home. Obviously at this point it was quite late, we wanted to get some sleep in before the next day. Early the next morning we grabbed our new egg, and a Gale Claw was born. We actually had one now, so that was looking good, but you couldn't fly on the back of these things, you could only use them as a glider, so I was not really feeling it. Anyway, we put another egg on and just got on, you know, same one we've had before we travelled back to this small settlement to see what it was about. And it turned out to be an actual village with NPCs in that you could talk to, and there was 2 traders in here, as well as some bloke who was like some security guy, and you could like hire him or something, but I was not too bothered. But we decided to speak to these merchants anyway to see what they were offering, and I wasn't offering anything too great, so I wasn't too bothered. I mean, that Univolt looks cool, but hopefully I can capture one myself, and I don't really want to be spending money on buying one. Anyway, we decide to explore around the village, and we see this massive cool looking bridge, and, you know, things are looking nice around here. And whilst we're just wandering around, I am also in the market for a new base location, because where we are now is just not good enough. And obviously, I was thinking somewhere, centre of the map would not be terrible. So we're just exploring, we're looking around, and we're trying to find somewhere new for us to potentially have a new base. But we decide to explore across the bridge, and we do see a syndicate camp. And I was ready to cat press any of these. I was going to slam on them. But whilst Grintail dealt with them, I just released the pal, and, it was quite, easy. These are not really difficult anymore. But whilst we was out, we thought, you know what, let's capture some pals and level up, sort of, multitask whilst we're at it. Trying to deal with multiple of these at the same time, we're trying to capture them as well as damage, and then, capture the other ones. It is a bit annoying, but it's not really difficult. I suppose it is sort of the fun of the game. You can sort of do it however you want. You could, knock one out and just capture one, or do as I do and, try and capture one whilst fighting another. Whilst we're out, we come across a mammoth fighting a few syndicate, thugs and doing whatever, and we think, you know what, can we get in on the action? Are we, maybe able to capture a mammoth here? Bad idea. The minute I saw them big vortex looking things coming at me, I ran. And we went for something a little bit more simpler, a land ball. These things were like my bread and butter. I knew how to capture these. I also knew how to kill them. We came across another camp anyway, and we decided to clear this one out. We captured a few of the pals, working around the area, and then we went in, and obviously we decided to free the one inside as well. But before we could free them, we had to deal with, obviously, this stupid tansy that did not want to be caught just outside. But once we finally caught him, we leveled up to level 17. Things were looking good for us. We were leveling up nice and quick. And again, we improved our stamina, because our stamina is low. And then we upgraded a few things, as well as getting the mega grappling hook. So now we had a mega one. We freed the pal, and then we carried on exploring a bit more. We obviously opened up any chests we saw, and just carried on exploring before we saw these, a Van Wyn? A Van Wyn? But I saw one of these, and I thought, I need one. I need one of these. These are like some fire poison dragon birds that fly in the air, and they'll just look cool, and I wanted one. I just could not capture it. Every time I managed to get away. I tried hard, but it was just not working out for me. So we finally pulled out the Mega Spear, hoping it was going to work, but no. This thing did not want capturing, so we had to put it down. We discovered another fast travel point. We hit that, and then we headed home. And as you can see, we actually did travel quite far away from our house, so our exploring is going well. We're finding new stuff, and hopefully soon we're going to find a new place for our base. The next day, we're out, and we stumble across a daydream. And obviously, we've got to capture it. It's a low level. It's easy enough to capture. But what we want to do mainly is get some ore today. We need to make some more iron. We've got a decent amount, but we just don't have enough. And I mean, it's very heavy, so you can never really carry too much. But, we get the furnace going, and we get them made. And then we head out looking for more Paldium fragments, because again, we're running out. We don't have enough to make any spears. We need more. But whilst out, we couldn't help ourselves from capturing a Hoo Crate. Obviously, we want to make sure we capture as many as we can, because we're looking to level up nice and fast. But then after that, we just carried on getting more Paldium fragments. On the return, we went to go check how much wood we had, and we had nearly 700 wood. Like, things are going well for us. But anyway, we make some Mega Spears, because obviously Mega Spears were now becoming more important than just the simple Pal Spears. Because any high levels, with the normal Pal Spears, it was not working out. And then we built a grappling gun, because why not? I want to feel like Batman. I want to feel like I'm playing Arkham City. Before I could grab the grappling gun, I had to quickly yeet one of my pals away before we gave it a go. Obviously, it's a bit annoying that it's got to go in one of your inventory slots there, like one of your tool slots. I wish there was like a separate button you could use, but it is still quite cool. And to be fair, the refresh time isn't too long. We end up stumbling across another one of these pals, and we are ready this time. We were ready to capture one of these and make them our own. Obviously, we didn't have a lot of Mega Spears, so we had to make sure we had them down very, very weak. But you couldn't jump up and hit them, and my crossbow was just too strong, so I sort of had to hope for the best. And we were hoping this time it was going to work. We were already through 2, we only had 3 more to go, and it was not looking good. We had syndicate thugs coming for us, and I did not want to pull out my Grintail in case he accidentally killed the pal that we were after. But things were good. We caught them. I was happy. Things were looking good. Then we ran across this broncherry, which was like a big old boy, and we were ready to kill it. But you know what? I was thinking, can we capture it the last minute? So I got Grintail away, and I got my Mega Spear ready. But as you can see, it starts at 37%. Things are difficult. I only had one left. Was it going to work? And it worked. We caught ourselves a broncherry, and whilst we were there, we saw these weird cow-looking ones, and thought, you know what, these might be able to produce us some milk, because that's what cows do. So we captured a few of these, and they were able to go back to our base and into the ranch, which then they produced milk for us, like sort of like all the time. And milk was a good food source, and pals ate it, I ate it, drank it, you know, whatever, it worked out. But it would be better if this cheeky bastard would stay still and not try and run away. I mean, why won't you let me enslave you? I mean, why would you run away from that? But this sort of went on, you know, for the most of the day. We're just sort of capturing these cows, and I think we ended up catching about 5 or 6, and obviously we want to make sure that we do get a decent bit of milk. But whilst we're out, obviously we're finding effigies, we're finding other stuff, and we found another Gale Claw, and I made the mistake of killing that one and then getting swarmed. Lucky enough they were low levels, and they was not ready for the Grintail. Grintail mashed them up. With the flock descending on me, he was ready to do a big old slam and take a few of them out. They were weak now, and they could not handle him. During the middle of the fight, obviously I tried my best to capture as many as possible, but it is difficult when they're up in the air and Grintail has taken no prisoners. We managed to get one spear off, but the rest of them, there was just no luck with it. But I suppose that's what's happened when you mess with me. You come and try and take us out, Grintail's going to mess you up. We ended up stumbling across these wool pops, which are just like pink sheep, and decide, you know what, we'll give these a go, trying to capture them. But again, they were quite difficult. It was starting low at like 20%. With having no Mega Spears, I didn't really think I had a chance at capturing any of these. They also did a lot of damage. I mean, they were taking, you know, half my health nearly every hit. And things were not looking too great. But obviously, if I had Grintail out, he would have made quick work of them and probably killed them both. And we didn't want that. But no matter what I tried, I could not capture them. They kept getting away. But lucky enough, with my last spear, the last one I threw, I was able to capture just one. I tried to capture them both, but it did not work. But one is better than none. The next day we grabbed our new Dark Egg and a Fellback was born, and with that we also leveled up. We improved our attack and unlocked a few new things. The Mega Glider, stone structures, as well as some cold resistant pelt armour. So we made the cloth that we needed to get this new glider, because obviously if it's a Mega Glider we're going to want it. If it's Mega, we need it. But before we could make that, we needed a few more resources, so we decided to explore a little bit further, see if we can pick them up. And whilst we're out, we saw a few more of these flying things that we wanted to capture to hopefully level up the one we'd not long captured. If we caught enough, we could make it a 1-star, which obviously will hopefully be a lot better. I wouldn't say I was really prepared for this, as I didn't bring many pal spears. They're just ones that I'd picked up on the floor or had lying around. Lucky enough, you know, we were able to capture one whilst fighting another. But these are ones as well, I just didn't want my Grintail to kill them. He did that way too often, and I wanted to make sure I could, you know, capture them, but I kept getting away. And look, I'm trying to attack him. It won't let me. Why won't you let me hit you? Finally, we have to put it down. We had one spear left, and we was not taking any chances. We ran into a few more, and we tried. But Grintail is just slamming them down, and he gives you no chance. I had one spear remaining, and I was also weak. There was a 7% chance, and we were hoping that this was going to work, but it didn't. We then stumbled across another syndicate base and saw these ones had grenadiers, and these had big explosives and big red circles that looked dangerous, but we managed to stay away from them. We didn't have the most health, but these were quite easy to kill. They're not the smartest enemies. They're sort of just focused on pals and other stuff, so we kind of, you know, made our way into the base and rescued this pal and sort of left the rest alone. Lucky enough, Grintail sort of just does all the work for you. You don't really need to do too much when you've got him. But I can't complain by getting a Toko, and then we return home. And obviously we're going to call it a night because it is very late now. The next day we make more pal spears. Obviously we don't want to keep running out, we need more. And only having 2 or 3 at a time just is not enough. So we kept making as many as we could until we ended up having 30, and then we headed out to try and do a few more bosses. We decided to give this Pen King one a go, and we were ready. It's only a level 15 boss, and we were level 18 at this point, and most of our pals were quite high level. So we sent out Grimtail, and we was ready to go. I was not too worried about how this was going to end up. Felt like this was going to be quite simple. I mean, we killed a boss with 30k health at level 12. I feel like we can do a level 15 boss with only 1500. But don't get me wrong, there was moments where it was kind of close. He did do a lot of damage, and he hit very hard. But lucky enough, Grimtail hits harder, and we were able to deal with him. And again, that got us a decent amount of XP. And once we returned home, we were actually able to make our Mega Glider. It's not much difference from the first glider, it just uses less stamina, and I believe it's quicker. So it's still an upgrade, but nothing crazy. I mean, if it was going to end up being a glider that, had flames going out the back, I would have been a lot happier. But after defeating the last boss, I felt confident. I feel like, you know what, let's do a few more. So we went out to this water looking for the next one. Killed a few of these and tried to capture them, but they were difficult, and we had a bunch of different pals all around us trying to get involved in this fight, and I just was not feeling it. But either way, we stayed strong. We tried to capture as many as possible, but also we had to, put a few down. They were all teaming up on us. They had finally had enough of me, slowly killing their families. But either way, we came across the boss, the Lady of the Lake, and we were ready. We were determined. And I thought, this can't go wrong, level 17. I don't see a world where this could go wrong. But it does. And I do end up dying. But it's okay. Because at least we look good whilst doing it. I mean, look how good our pelt armor looks. Yeah, we can say that. And it's not because I'm bad. I mean, look, she was weak. I was just trying to capture her. She just managed to do me in. And I mean, how cool would it be to have multiple dragons on my team? I just could not do it. I got killed. So we were back the next day with vengeance, and we were ready this time. Grintail went straight in with a big old slam. I'm doing the good damage. Look, she's firing out bubbles. She's doing crazy stuff. I was hoping we were going to be able to get her nice and weak, and I was going to be able to capture, but things just did not go to plan. And this is what happens, Not everything goes to plan straight away. I tried my best to capture her, but I didn't have time to pull my pal back so I could actually throw the spear because I was too busy dodging, trying not to die. But either way, that is another boss down, and things were going good. And once we were there, we thought, you know what, let's try and capture a few more pals whilst we're at it. And, that's not a terrible thing. We're going to get good XP. We're going to, potentially level up. But I didn't realise that there was going to be so many of them. We had pals left, right and centre ready to slap me up, and things were looking scary. It was difficult to keep up dodging, firing arrows, doing the lot whilst we had so many on us. But lucky enough we made it away safely before going to attack some more. And you know what, my armour was broken, my shield wasn't there. I should have been a little bit smarter, but don't worry, we survived. We made it through because we are becoming a pro at this game. And at this point we were quite close to hitting level 19, and that is something we wanted to hit because we wanted to be able to ride a flying dragon. I think he's a dragon, he looks like a dragon. If he's not a dragon, he's just a big fiery bird. But either way, I still wanted to ride him. But we carried on, capturing more, still getting hit. The dodge rolls were not fully down. But we hit level 19, things are looking good. And we're still trying our best to capture as many as possible. Maybe I want an army of wolves, you just don't know. And obviously this battle dragged on for quite a while. This was longer than the boss battle because there was just so many to deal with. We're throwing spears left, right and centre, firing arrows, we're doing a lot. But it all worked out in the end and things were looking good. We then decided to use our stat to increase our HP because it was quite low. Then we use our technology points to make a saddle for our green dinosaur, as well as some men and a breeding farm. We then stumbled across 2 mammoths fighting again, so I decided to sort of see, who was going to win, and then we were going to take on the winner. I probably should have tried to capture, but the percentage was so low, it was like 0.05%, chance, it just wasn't worth it. So me and Grintail got to work trying to kill this mammoth. And obviously this thing was scary. This was, 16, 17 levels higher than us. Things were not looking too great for us, but you know what? We were smart, we dodged, and we kept our distance. We pulled out multiple pals, and we were good to go. And we were finally able to just slowly whittle down the health until it was nothing left. And we took the final shot, and it died in front of us, and we felt great. We had just taken down a level 35 mammoth. Things were looking up for us, we were getting strong. And then I sort of had an idea for a good base position. And on the way there, we had to pick up a couple of effigies. As you can see, there's a nice open area just here. And I was thinking, you know what? We're not going to get raided much if we are protected. Things are going to be safe. So we put down our PAL box and we decide that this is going to be our new base area for the foreseeable future. All we had to do really was just bring everything over from our old base and sort of, start again. But that was not too difficult. I mean, yeah, it was a lot of back and forth, but things, kind of happened quick, and we wanted to make sure we had everything. So what we did, we wanted to get some iron so we could make the new chest. And whilst doing that, we saw another green, big old dinosaur-looking boy. So we decided to mess him up and then capture him. Now, hopefully, this wasn't going to take many spears, but you know how it is. I mean, you could either capture him, straight away, or it's going to take you 45 spears. It's never simple, but this time it only took 3. So things weren't going too bad. But pretty much our main goal was just to collect iron at this point, and we wanted to make sure that we had enough so we could make the new chest that we had unlocked, because obviously we need better storage. And at the minute we've got chests lying around all over the place, and we didn't want that in our new base. We wanted to make the place look nice, homely, and beautiful. The next day, we travelled back to our new base. We wanted to start getting things in place so we could start moving there as soon as possible. We got a few stone foundations put down, and obviously at this point I didn't know that you could continuously build over and over again without having to do that. Well, we placed down the metal chest, and this thing took 15 iron. 15 iron for a chest, but to be fair, it is like double the size. And if you're looking at this and thinking it's not within the blue circle, obviously it's not going to count as like the multi-storage thing it does. I do realise that, and I do move things in the future, so do not panic. But obviously we needed to place down the spear workbench because obviously we're always making them. And then I needed an area for our pals to sleep. I didn't feel like leaving them outside anymore. You know what? They needed their own place. And we, decided let's build them a little home. Obviously it's not going to be as nice as what we're going to be living in, but it's going to be, okay. I don't plan on being a terrible slave owner. Pal owner. They're definitely not slaves. I definitely love them and look after them and don't just put them to work and forget about them. But either way, we get going and then we end up building a roof for this little building so they at least are not going to be stuck in the rain, or they've got somewhere in the shade they can go so they don't have the sun beating down on their weary little heads. I do kind of regret building so close to the hill, but you know what? We find a way of making it work, and that's all that matters. And we're able to make it look at least half decent, and it works for them. They're able to stay in there, and they've got a decent bit of room. And then we proceed to put a few beds down. Obviously we only put one at the beginning and get that built, but over time we do fill the place and get 10 beds down, so we can at least have 10 pals working here. And we decide we need some light, so we unlock the wall torches and the wooden gate, and that's something we're going to be building in the future. We head back to the old base and call it a night because we hadn't moved the bed over yet, but we needed a feed box down because if we're going to have workers, they're going to need to eat. And they only work hard when they've got food. So what we do, we put a chest down over near the trees because at the minute our pal is cutting down trees and putting the wood all over the floor, and we don't want that. So we put a chest so they can at least move it over before we place down our first berry plantation, so at least the food production can maintain as good as it has been. Our plan is to kind of, build this base out, make this, our new main one. Anything that was in the old base we'll place here, and then in the future we'll maybe make a new base over somewhere where there's like a lot of iron and have them mining the iron for us, because that's going to be a lot easier than me doing it. But as you can see, we're placing down a lot of beds because we need loads of beds for all our pals, and they need places to sleep. And then we break down our old logging site and move it to the new base. So now that obviously wood can be made over here and we don't have to keep running back, and at least we've got a constant supply. Once that's complete, we make our way back to our old base just to pick up a few more things, including the stone pit. Again, this is just going to be put into the new base because we want to make sure we've got a constant supply of stone. We don't really want to run out, and we don't want to have to do it ourselves. So we're at this point in the game now where the pals can do it for us. We can be a little bit lazy. We then decided it'd be a good time to move the hot spring over. Obviously, we want to make sure that our pals do rest and they're not going to be moaning, that they haven't had enough time to get into the hot tub and relax. Like, God, they're so lucky. I mean, not everyone gets a hot tub just for working. But we placed down a couple more berry plantations just again so we can keep up, the amount of berries we do, because the more pals we have, the more berries we're going to need, and we're going to need quite a few. We then placed down a few wall torches so at least at night the place can be lit up and we can still see where we are and what we're doing. Then we hop on Grintail and we do a bit of exploration around the local area to see what is going on, because we've not actually explored this part yet. And whilst this is around our new base, we want to make sure, that we're not, missing out on anything useful, or that we haven't put our base in the worst place possible. And obviously, at this point, it wasn't too late to go backwards. But lucky enough for us, we explored around and saw that we actually are in a decent place. There's nothing crazy about. There's no, terrible mobs that are going to come and do us in. Things are looking quite good. So whilst we're out, we pretty much just spent our time collecting pals. Obviously, we want to capture a few more. We also just want to get our level up, and things are obviously going well. We're nearly level 20 at this point, and we discovered with the low level ones, if we just use our axe, we're less likely to accidentally knock them out. And we kept doing that with our spear a lot, and as well with our crossbow, because we just do so much damage at this point. But this pretty much was all day and most of the night, just capturing as many pals as we saw and picking up all the chests we saw just in case we found some really good loot. Then there we were, level 20. We decided this time we're going to upgrade our carry weight because, it was a useful time, as well as getting a Giga Spear unlocked, the weapon workbench, and as well as the average feedback. So now that it was a bit bigger, we could have multiple food go in, and it meant that if certain, pals ate certain foods and, they had better benefits, they would be able to do that. But things didn't slow down here. We wanted to carry on the grind of capturing more pals and trying to get to level 21. We didn't want to slow down just yet. Obviously we had to collect a few of our spirit animals, the Pressos, as well as a few Hue crates, but at this point we were closing in on collecting nearly 10 of them because we were capturing quite a lot every time we saw them. But again, this just went on pretty much through the night into the early morning, and we spent pretty much a whole day just, capturing random pals at this point. But you know what, it's good XP and it levels you up quite quick, and we're already a quarter of the way to level 21. We returned home and back to our new base, ready to get some work done. We started to expand out where I would be living. We wanted to get a part of the house into the blue circle, meaning that any item that was in a chest or, in storage within that blue circle, I could access on a workbench or whatever without having to actually go and find the item and drag it out into my inventory and mess around and, try and find it all. So it works out quite well. Obviously, we place a few windows down before we place down the door, and then we get started on the ceiling as well as making a second floor, because obviously we don't just want a little box, we want the place to look quite nice. Obviously, we tried to get all the ceiling done, but we couldn't at this moment because we just ran out of stone. But it's okay because we've got pals working on collecting stone for us, and they'll have it done in no time. But we do have about 800 stone stat in the old base, but it's very difficult to move over because it weighs so much. So we'll, do that slowly over time. But as you can see, we move over the spear workbench as well as the chest, and there's loot all over the place, but it does not matter because once we get that place down, as well as our old crafting bench and the repair bench, we are good to go. We return to the old base, pick up the furnace and the egg incubator, and make our way back. We then place a new furnace down because obviously iron is going to become very useful for us, as well as placing down a couple more straw beds. Like I said, we want all the pals to be able to sleep here, so we can at least have 10 going at a time, because at the moment we could only have 9. We then decided to make some Giga Spears, and they needed 2 ingot each one. So these really have got to be, very good. And I know there is better ones in the future, but right now, the Giga Spears are the best we can do. We then make some mega spears before making some basic pal spears, and we just wanted to get out and get capture in so we could hit the next level as soon as possible. But before we could do that, I didn't want to stop moving the old base to the new base, so we carried on moving stuff over and creating a few arrows so we were good to go if we went to go fight any new bosses. And as you know, these arrows take so long to make, it's difficult to sit there holding the F button for a long time. So I gave up about halfway and put down the cool box, as well as placing down a bed so we could at least sleep in our new base. And this sort of stopped the need to be travelling back and forth as much as we was. We were then able to make the mega shield, so this was going to be like obviously our common shield, but better. It's going to be mega. And as you can see, we've got a little boy helping us, our Pengulet, but he's still very slow, so hopefully there's going to be a better workbench in the future that can make these things so much quicker. So we decided to head out and do a boss, and on the way there we decided we'll capture a couple of these pals here, and obviously it's all XP at the end of the day, things are looking good. Obviously we see a deer boy and we think, yeah, we'll capture you too, because, we're ready. Look at this now, we're able to capture him nice and quick. There's no more mess about, we are just strong. They cannot handle us. Obviously it's not always that simple. This one did not want to be captured. This one was fighting back, but it's alright. We managed to capture him anyway. We pressed the wrong button and nearly had Grintail take him out, but things still went well for us. Then we made our way ready for the boss battle. This boss was kind of cool, and I liked the way that they fought, so I thought, you know what, this one we are capturing. We're not making a mistake this time. We're not going to not do it. We're going to do the damage. We're going to, get them down, and Capturus will be ours, and they will be our new pal. So obviously we do the usual, we keep our distance and we rotate for our pals, making sure they don't take too much damage, and neither do we. We throw down our first Giga Spear, and lucky enough, these are strong and we're able to capture Capturus straight away. And that actually gave us just over 2k XP. Like, that it just gives you so much. But anyway, we're out, we're still capturing, we're capturing land balls, and then we make our way back to our base. This is where we make the difficult choice to drop Malchrist and bring in Capturus. But you know what, it works out in the future because Capturus is just so much better. But we're still out and we're still wanting to capture a few of these so we can upgrade our own back at our base. But right now, we still don't have enough to make it a 1 star yet. We were able to capture the first one quite easy, and the second one was a little bit more difficult just because we didn't want to accidentally knock it out. I mean, it was low health and I was worried that a crossbow shot was going to do it in, but lucky enough it didn't. We were able to throw the spear and try and capture this thing. But as you can see, it ain't going to work as easy as that, is it? It never does. So we pull out a mega spear and decide to bring out one of the big boys. And finally, it works this time. So we've now got an extra 2 of these, and that brings us up to 4 that we've captured. And we carry on the rest of the night, capturing a few more. We get a few dire howls, pretty much it's just like dogs or wolves. And that's how it goes. But this one did not want to be captured. I mean, look how weak it is. And it was like not having it. And I did not want to use my other spears. I thought, you're not worth it. You ain't good enough to be worth a big boy spear. You ain't a Giga Spear sort of pal. But lucky enough, on my last pal spear, my basic one, he got captured. The next day comes around and we decide to build the repair bench, because obviously things are going to get damaged over time and we need to repair them, as well as making the ranch, because obviously the milk is a good item to have. And we just carry on placing down pretty much everything we've had before, just because we need to keep up with having them all. And at this point I feel like the base is coming along well. We place the ceiling and we're almost level 21, so we head out and capture a few more just so we can hit that mark. But sadly I did have to use one of the better spears because these wolves were just so annoying, but there we was, level 21. And this time we decided to increase our health points because I felt a little bit weak. So you know what, more health is going to work out. And then we was able to unlock the musket and the saddle for our big old flying boy. You know what, I probably should give them actual names. So if you want to be named after a pal, make sure to comment down below and let me know what pal you want to be named after. I'll try my best to obviously, first come first served in a way. But, if I do, accidentally miss you, no hard feelings. And obviously, if you do want to see your 200 days and see if you were named after a pal, let me know and we can get that in the works. But look at this thing, it destroyed me and this is my reaction to it. Oh! What the fuck was that? What the fuck? I mean, look at it. It destroyed me. He shot out of nowhere. I was not ready. Like, I'm lucky enough, though. I was smart after this. He seems very strong, so I was like, maybe we should sort of keep a distance from that one. But anyway, we're out. We're collecting more. We're looking after resources here. But, you know, on the way, I can't help myself. And then we see a Robin Quill, and I wanted one of these bad boys, and look how much damage we're doing. But the thing is, I had no shield up, and I was like, this is going to be easy. I got wrecked at this point. Look at it. And I was like, this is it. Boom. Dead. Robin Quill kills me. But we're back. Me and Cactus were fighting, and lucky enough we see a Robin Quill in combat, and we think this is our time. So we do as much damage as we can before we go in for the sneaky capture. And obviously, I'm going to, you know, try and do it without actually taking any damage myself. And we even use a Giga Spear just to try and be safe. And in the distance, we can see another Robin Quill. It'd be rude not to go for this one as well. So obviously we throw the spear and we hope for the best. But that did not work out. So we have to end up doing a little bit of damage before we throw one more spear. Lucky enough for us, Cactus is not an overkill pal. And not like, you know, Grimtail that just decides to, you know, absolutely destroy everyone. And things sort of worked out for us. But then after that, we call it a night and we get some sleep. The next day we build our weapons workbench so we can make our first gun. You know, part of this is, you know, Pokemon with guns. That's what people are trying to tell you the game is. And at this point we've not even got our first gun. Then we decide to break down our Statue of Power and take it back to the new base so we could at least upgrade our pals and spend our effigies if we had enough. And we chose this little corner would be a nice place to put it. So what we do, we upgrade our new Robin Quill just because Robin Quill's cool. He's got, you know, he does a lot of damage and he's got a lot of help. But we also need to upgrade our Cactus because, you know, we want her to be strong as well. But again, this is just purely because I like them and they're cool. If they wasn't, I probably wouldn't use them. And that's the truth. But we need ore. We need to make, you know, our new gun. But we need ore to do it. So we go out and we mine as much ore as possible. But like I said, it weighs a lot. You can't have too much before, you know, sadly, your inventory is full. We do see a Pikachu rip-off on the way, and we make sure to capture them. And that actually fills up our inventory, and that is annoying. But either way, we put a Rocky Egg on the incubator, and we go out, capturing a few more, and looking for iron. And whilst we're looking for iron, you know, it'd be rude not to, you know, multitask and, you know, try and level up whilst doing it. But after that, our saddle's ready. We could now build it, and it took a while to make. Look how slow that is. This took like a whole, like, you know, like 4 minutes to make. 4 minutes just stood there holding down F. But once it was finally done, things felt great. We now had freedom like we've never before. We were able to just fly wherever we wanted, as long as our, obviously, pal had stamina. Because he ran out of stamina, he kind of just, like, floated, like, you know, near the floor, and it was a bit pointless. But he was good. He was fast, and things felt great. This was going to make exploring in the next 100 days so much better. And I mean, look, we could do so much damage from above and not even have to touch the ground. And taking Nightwings out, 2 shots. Easy. Our Rocky Egg was complete and we opened it to get a Doomud. Yeah, the thing sounded weird, I just didn't even bother with it. But we put a new egg on. A large damp egg, open for something good. And then our musket was ready to craft. So obviously we had to get that going straight away. This again was a very, very long process. I mean, the crafting time is unbelievable. And what's even longer is the ammunition for this. It takes so long. We could only make 30, but look how slow that is. I mean, it took us, I think it took us like 18 minutes to make 30 ammo. Like, that can't be right. I'm hoping in the future they do improve that and it's something where it's not as long because it takes such a long time at the moment where it's just not fun. But either way, we make the ammo and then we make a few more spears because you never know when we're going to need them. We might find some new pals to capture. And obviously we want to keep our basic ones for if we see any low levels, because if we see any low level ones, it's worth just grabbing just to get the XP. But this time we were determined to try that boss again, the one that sliced us down so quick last time. You know, I'm thinking we've got a gun now, the musket, look how much damage it does, it's a big powerful weapon. Did things go better? We did a bit more damage, but he still just slashed us nice and quick. it was difficult, this one. I mean, I wanted him. If I could capture him for myself, I'm doing it. But at this moment, I was not ready to take that boss down. We ended up running across another bronze cherry, and we could even just stay up in the sky. We didn't even have to go down to the ground, but we chose to, just so we could give our musket a go. But we didn't have chance because we needed to reload it. And then we ran across the King Packer, and this time, this was it. We were ready. We were going to take this boss down like no tomorrow. So we took down the yards, and then we dismounted and got ready to blast our musket in the face. But let's be honest, this King Packer was a strong boy. He did not take much damage from anything. I mean, even fire damage was like 3. Look at it, he's just a big old jumper. We were doing next to no damage, and I missed so many shots, and things were just frustrating. But we still managed to get him down quite weak, and eventually we were able to get him down to the point where we were actually able to capture him. Obviously, it was a long process. It wasn't easy. It couldn't have been easy. That wouldn't have made sense. We wanted to get him down nice and slow, and we're thinking, this is it. Are we going to be able to get him this time? And obviously, whilst we're waiting, we've got other bloody pals trying to attack us, and they just won't leave us alone. But there we are, level 22. Another boss down, and we actually captured this one. Again, things are looking good. We increase our stamina before we go look at our technology and see if we can make a saddle for the King Packer, as well as making a hip lantern, and that's going to be useful because there's so many parts where we go and it's just too dark. Then we decide just to take out a couple of caprities because why not? Why not have a bit of fun? Whilst we're flying around, we just feel so powerful, it's just worth it. We then take out a couple of these low level Vixies because again, why not? I mean, I did try and capture that one, but he kind of just took the spear to the face and just like shrugged it off and was like, yeah, I can do this all day. This one we were able to capture though, and I think that is the first one we had, so it was just worth grabbing. After that, we carried on exploring about even more, just looking for new areas and new pals we've never seen before. We've never seen these gobfins, but they were extremely strong. We tried landing there before, and because they stay in packs, it's very difficult to just sort of single one out and do a lot of damage. So you end up having to either take them all out and leave one, or try and get them all weak at the same time. You know, it's not a difficult thing to do. But either way, we're capturing a few floppies and we're just flying around and having a good time. And we end up finding this ancient ritual site, which we weren't too sure what it was, but it looked cool. And then we stumble across this camp and discover that we can actually slide so far, and it's really cool, but we missed our shot. But anyway, we take out the 3 Pal Alliance Devouts, and then we free the pal that is there. So I still can't, decide if these are bad guys, like what... How are these different from the Syndicate? Like, none of it makes sense to me, and I hope there's, a really simple explanation to this. But either way, they were quite simple to take out. I was just sniping them here with my musket, and it's fun having a gun at this point. It's a lot better than having like the crossbow or the bow because it's just different. But we carry on taking them out, and we let our Robin Quill do most of the work. We rescue the Tiefan, and that's sort of it, and we return back to our base. And this was it. We had completed our 100 days. I do hope you enjoy, and if you did, remember to like, comment and subscribe, and let me know if you want to see 200 days. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.